Now, how about wipes? One of the most basic transitions in television, but still powerful, quick, and easy to do. Let me show you. So in keeping with our scenarios that we've been doing here, I'm going to show you the end result. We kind of have a hard-edged wipe with a very soft edge, and it's blue. So let me show you how we create this. So I'm going to clear out my ME so we can show everything back. So let's select this. I'm going to come down here on my transition area, and I'm going to select wipe. And we can see that this will give us a hard-edged wipe. Let me change my source underneath here. So we have kind of half of what we're doing already. Now I'm going to double press the wipe button to get me to my wipe menu. Now it just so happens to be that the default wipe is the pattern that we're going to use here, but it's very easy to change any of my patterns. So we'll go back to pattern number 1. So the first thing I want to do is I want to create the border on this thing. So I'm going to come over and I'm going to go to edge and direction. And I can create a straight border by coming up and moving this over. And you can see it's here. And let's go and change this into a blue border by hitting matte. And then again, I've got a quick selection. I can select any of my colors that I want to here, but I can also just do a quickie by pressing that. And I like the blue right here. And we're going to hit close. So I've got this here, but what I want to get is I want to get that long trailing edge on the left-hand side and the hard right-hand side edge. So to do that, I'm going to turn on a soft border. Now let me explain the difference between border and soft border. If you look over here on the knobs, on border I have the width and that's it. When I go to soft border, I still have width, but I have an inner softness and an outer softness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my inner softness to 50. And notice what that did. I now have this kind of thick border, which I actually want to make a little thicker. I'm going to come up here and tell it I want this to be something like 10. And you notice here now I've got a hard edge on one side and a very, very soft edge on the other side. All right? So here's the wipe that we just created. Now there are a couple other things we can do in the wipe. First of all, we can change the direction of the wipe. Down here underneath the fader arm are the direction controls. Now this is the normal position. The way that you can tell what a normal position is, see up here on the menu, it says the main pattern, and it's showing black to white, and that the white is coming from the left edge. See the arrow? So that's exactly what's happening here. When I'm in the normal direction, it's always going to come from this direction. If I go here and hit reverse, what's going to happen is it's going to come from the opposite direction. Now notice that the edges are still correct, meaning that the right edge is still hard, the left edge is still soft. So this one looks kind of weird when you do it that way. If I really wanted it to have the going from right to left with a hard edge going towards the left, I'd have to change my pattern by going back to normal, double pressing wipe, and using pattern number 2. See how the difference of that is? So let's go back to pattern 1, and we have our effect here. I can do a couple of other things I really want to quickly show you. Go back to the wipe menu, go back to edge, and again I can change the matte. I can also go into matte adjust, and I can change this to a mix color. And all that's going to do is let me have 2 different matte generators. So I can go here to color 1 and say it's my blue color, go to color 2 and maybe make it purple. And then I can go to mix color and change my softness to say 50. And now you can see that as I'm making this transition, it goes from blue to purple because there's actually another wipe inside the border. But let's go back to a standard flat color here. So here is our thing. Now, let's go ahead and store this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to store this in a wipe snapshot. So let me go up to my multifunction module and hit wipe snapshot. I'm going to make sure that my region is ME1 because that's where I'm storing these things at. I'm going to hold down wipe and I'm going to hit number 1. You can see that the pattern shows up in here. Now, just like DME wipe snapshots, which I talked about earlier, all this is going to remember is the wipe pattern. It's not going to remember anything else. So remember what we did before, where we came over here and we double pressed this and we changed this to pattern number 2, so it went the opposite direction but kept the hard edge on the outside of the wipe. Let's go ahead and store that as wipe snapshot number 2. So notice I got 2 different icons here. If I recall this, it goes this way. If I recall this one, it goes this way. Notice it's not touching my cross points or anything like that. Let's go back to this and let's do one more fun thing in the wipe. Let's put something in the white border that isn't a color. Let's go back here. We're going to go back to the white menu, go to the edge direction menu, and see down here where it says edge fill. Right now, it's saying that the edge should be a matte. Let's change this to utility 1 bus. Now, each ME has a utility bus, and it can be gotten up here, on the top row by utility 1. And this time, I'm going to go and find a frame. So frame memory 3 has my MVS 3000 logo. So I'm going to put frame memory 3 in there. Now watch what happens when we do our wipe. Kind of gives us a really nice transition with the switcher's logo as we go between things.